I tell you, I am just ecstatic to be here. I'm just happy to be back in the state of Delaware. I kind of have to say that I left in a rush, you know. For those who know me, they know what I mean. So first and foremost, let me just say thank you to my sorors and to my frat brother for giving me this opportunity to speak with you today. And God laid a lot of things on my heart to bring a message today to you about unity through love, okay? So first I'm going to start with the quote that I always start with to kind of center me in my thoughts. Now abide, faith, hope, love, these three. But the greatest of these is love. Good afternoon, family and friends, Panhellenic Council, brothers and sisters, of course, recognition to our state directors of Phi Beta Sigma and Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and a special greetings to my brothers of Phi Beta Sigma. Amen. And my sisters, of course, of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. If you don't know by now, it is Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated's 100th birthday. And we are about to kick it off today. Okay. So, sorors, I'm going to just seize this opportunity to say to you, if I don't see you January the 16th, State Director, at Howard University at midnight, I want to say to you, happy birthday. Happy birthday. And of course, it is most appropriate to acknowledge the 5 pearls of Zeta. Okay? Arizona Cleveland Stemmons, Myrtle Tyler Faithful, Viola Tyler Goings, Fannie Petty Watts, and Pearl Ann Neal. We all know that the brothers Charles Robert and Samuel Taylor of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated shared with Arizona a vision that they had about a sisterhood in 1919. And Arizona, in her wisdom, got her sisters together. She said, hey, come on over here. Pearl, Myrtle, Viola, Fannie. Let me share this with you. And thus, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated was born. I'm not going to go into the deep history as we've already heard it, right? But I am going to just say that as a trained historian, I want us to take this opportunity to understand that this is history being made. I also want to say that the truth be told, that Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated was conceived in the spirit of unity through love. The evidence we have for this claim is that thus the love was fortified and constitutionally bounded, right? In fact, when I went back to prepare for today, I began to look over our history, you know, and I saw some highlights. In fact, the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and my friend over here, Dr. Terry Gray, the Sisters of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, hosted a welcoming reception for the final ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and they welcomed them to the campus. Thus, unity through love. And as we usher in the new decade, I want to take today to challenge us, each of us, to revisit our history. Now, I'm not talking about just the history of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated or Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated or any of the Panhellenic Councils. I'm talking about the history of African Americans in America, okay? 2020 is a significant year for us. If you don't know by now, this is the 66th birthday of Brown versus Board of Education. This is the 56th anniversary of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So we're talking about history in 2020. In 2020, this is a great opportunity for us to get in alignment, get your vision straight. When you go to the doctor and he says you have 20/20 vision, what does that mean? Perfect vision. It means you can see, right? So 2020 marks a significant year for everyone. Just so happens that the ladies of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated happen to be celebrating our centennial, so it's a little more special for us, right? Right, Soros? Can I get an EIK or a Z5B? Okay, now, both of these organizations grew out of that unity through love. But the unity through love concept extends beyond the constitutionally bound relationship between Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated and Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, the greatest sorority in the world, baby. You gotta remember that. But both of these organizations are grand. But I want to go back a little bit into our history as Africans in America. And as a trained historian, I want you to know that crowning legislative achievements such as the Civil Rights Act of 1964 fortified the 13th Amendment in the Constitution, the 14th Amendment in the Constitution, and the 15th Amendment in the Constitution. They were not enacted until the Civil Rights Act came about, right? Just think about 1920, what was going on. Jim Crow was flying high, honey. And although 2020 is also important for women, it's important for us as Americans because it was 1920 that the women received the suffrage or the right to vote, right? That's important for us as Americans, whether we're African, Latino, or white. That's important. How you doing, brother? How you doing today? Good to see you. Now, let's think about that. Women received the suffrage in 1920, and now it's 2020, and we're celebrating 100 years of the suffrage. Now, I would venture to say that that didn't mean much for African Americans in 1920, right? Because if an African American was bold enough to go and exercise their constitutional rights, more than likely the probability of them being lynched to death was the result of that action. So what does that have to do with us today? Why am I bringing all this up? Why is this conversation relevant for us today? Well, let me tell you why. I came today to bring you a message. I came to bring you the message around unity through love. And 2020 is the time. It's the time. The time has come. It's the year for us to get our vision straight. Get the clarity that we need. 2020 vision, we got it. We know that means you can see. But we have to begin to get clarity around the things that we have to do for our community. Now, I don't know, and I don't care if you're a Delta, I don't care if you're AKA, I don't care if you're a Sigma Gamma Rho, I don't care if you're a Kappa, I don't care if you're a Q. Your organization was started to put you in a position of leadership. Right? I don't care if you're the pastor of the church. The church was founded on the leadership to serve the community and bring souls to the kingdom of God. Right? So this message is for every leader sitting in here today. That's right now. Go ahead. Come on now. I came to challenge you that if you have fighting in your organization, in your sorority, in your fraternity, in your church, at your job, you better get yourself together now. Because our ancestors, the people who fought in the civil rights, it was their actions that led to the opportunities that we have today. It was the actions that they leaped into to enact the Civil Rights Act of 1964. to ensure that the 13th and the 14th and the 15th Amendment was enacted and operationalized, right? So that we could access the opportunities that we have been able to access. When we look at the conditions of race relations in our country, we know that the divide is growing because of the lack of focus on unity through love. Therefore, for the centennial year 2020, I am issuing a call to action, calling all Zetas, calling all Sigmas, calling all members of the Panhellenic Council, calling all churches, calling all leaders. It's time to get straight. Now, unity through love is our action, but not just in our actions, but in our intentions to elevate excellence in our community for education, for health, and for everyone's quality of life. If you have been fighting with your colleague, your brother, your sister, your soror, I'm gonna stop there for a minute, your soror, your spouse, people at your job, in your personal relationships, I ask you to think of your actions. And if you have committed to an organization, look at yourself. Stop looking at everybody else. Determine what you can do differently to be an initiator of unity through love. I'm arguing today that we need unity through love with God. We need unity through love with our family. We need unity through love as leaders of our community. Unity through love has to be our commitment to advocate for those who have no voice. I don't know about you, but I still believe in the heart of unity that flows from you to me in the spirit of love, sister. I still believe in that. If we look at our history, it was that spirit of unity through love that Martin Luther King Jr., as we approach his birthday, tried to bring to light, right? Martin Luther King Jr., God bless his soul, he sacrificed a lot for us. So as we approach his birthday, it's important to note that his fight was one for humanity. It was about unity of blacks and whites through love, uplifting the poor. Isn't that why our founders envisioned these organizations? Our founders envisioned scholarship and opportunities, right, through education. They envisioned service to serve the underprivileged, to lift up the most vulnerable in our communities. And they served for sisterhood, if you're in a sorority, and brotherhood, if you're in a fraternity. And I don't care if you're a Q, I don't care if you're a Kappa, I don't care if you're Alpha, I don't care if you're a Groove 5 Groove, Mr. Evans, I don't care if you were AKA, I don't care if you were Delta, I don't care if you're a Sigma Gamma Rho. I do care if you were Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, because you're representing me, okay, truth be told, okay? But in all honesty, that was the privilege and the oath that we took, right? All of these organizations, service, scholarship, sisterhood or brotherhood, it's consistent. So, isn't the signs, as I look at the signs, and I was on the phone with Garcia, and I was laughing, I was like, listen to my speech. And he was like, okay, sister, all right, Sora. I know I get on his nerves, but hey, that's what sisters are for. And I said, 1914. Just think about that, 1914. the month that January's the first month. That's 9, that's the day. And 14, the sigmas are in alignment. 1914. 1914. They're in alignment. I said, we got to get ourselves in alignment. It's 2020. It's a new decade, right? He's like, oh, okay, Sora. And so I want to encourage you that if what you sow into your life grows, if you sow into your life unsisterly actions, unbrotherly actions, then you know what you're going to grow? Unsisterly actions, unbrotherly actions. But if you sow the seed of love and kindness, it's going to grow. It'll grow. So therefore, I urge you to join me as we celebrate what was conceived in the spirit of unity through love, ignited by the brothers of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, and constitutionally bounded with the sisters of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, the greatest sorority in the world. Please appease me. And people who know me, when I speak, I like to interact with my audience. And so I'm going to ask you to stand. I'm going to ask you to take a pledge and an oath of unity through love. So those who can stand, please stand. And as we embark on this new decade, we're poised to seize this momentum, to reset our vision so that we get the clarity we need to demonstrate consistency towards the realization of our goal, which is unity through love. And so I ask you to take this pledge and repeat after me, a pledge of unity through love. Today I pledge to demonstrate love.
Today I pledge to demonstrate love.
And kindness in my actions towards others.
And kindness in my actions towards others.
In all my endeavors.
In all my endeavors.
Especially when people do not deserve my grace.
Especially when people do not deserve my grace.
Or consideration.
Or consideration.
As a leader.
As a leader.
I pledge to embrace humility.
I pledge to embrace humility.
And accept responsibility for the things I can do.
And accept responsibility for the things I can do.
To bring about a spirit of unity through love.
To bring about a spirit of unity through love.
In my environment.
In my environment.
I recommit to the voice of those most in need of my advocacy.
Most in need of my advocacy.
I commit to be a leader.
I commit to be a leader
Who is advancing a vision.
Who is advancing a vision
of unity through love.
Of unity through love.
Give yourselves a round of applause. Now I'm going to tie this up. You can all have a seat. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to end this with a quote by Martin Luther King, because as we embark on this new decade, and we're going to get our vision clear, and we're going to demonstrate consistency towards the realization of our goals, we need to acknowledge a man who made it possible for all of us to get together today, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. His birthday is rapidly approaching, as is our centennial. Get together, Vi, keep it together, it's almost over, okay. So I'm going to end with this quote by Martin Luther King Jr. Love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. Thank you so much. God bless you.
On behalf of the Theta Zeta Zeta chapter here in Dover, as well as the Gamma Sigma chapter here, we would like to present to you a token of our appreciation for coming down and sharing with us and making sure that we ignite our light and making sure everyone knows that our centennial is fast approaching, so the turn up is real.
All right. One Zeta, mobilize, Zeta rise. One Zeta, mobilize, Zeta rise. One Zeta, mobilize, Zeta rise. Thank you so much, Doris.